And considering the fact that this is perhaps the better plot in that vicinity, right, with Gem Residences right across the road. Gem Residences, the sales were not that good during launch because of the fact that it was beside the temple. So this plot doesn't have that issue and is actually closer to the MRT. And here are the 3 launches that excites me in 2024. But first of all, I need to caveat that these are the lists that I currently have based on the sites that have been en bloc or have been sold via GLS. It would not include those that have not yet been sold. I have another list for that. Basing this off also based on the fact that it's price aside and layouts aside for now, okay? And I will definitely be doing a review for these 3 sites. So you may want to put into the comments if there's any of the launches, upcoming launches in 2024 that you would like me to review, you know, in my traditional 3 things I like and 3 things I don't quite like manner. But these 3 don't need to put it into the comments, for sure I will review, okay? First and foremost, it's the Toa Payoh GLS. I've always been a fan of the Toa Payoh area, blue chip area, so to speak. Mature town, not a very high number of condo supply in that area. If I can remember correctly, should be just 4 existing one, and this should be the 5th one. And considering the fact that this is perhaps the better plot in that vicinity, right, with Gem Residences right across the road. Gem Residences, the sales were not that good during launch because of the fact that it was beside the temple. So this plot doesn't have that issue and is actually closer to the MRT. So very, very excited about what's in store for this plot, as well as the developers. We have the very good developers CDL, Frasers and Secrecy worked on Seaside Residences together. They put that off pretty well, and then now adding on to another old-timer CDL and good size development at 800 units, okay? So it's also going to be anchored down by Good School, right? I believe we will have one of the CHIJ, the top CHIJ Toa Payoh, and we're going to have Peichin as well. Expected launch price about 2.4 to 2.5k PSF, which is basically this year's ASEA pricing, right? So if they launch at around that pricing, I think it's going to be a really good deal. It's something that you guys can consider. Next up would be the Tampines Avenue 1 site, won by CapitaLand, UOL, and Singland. Again, the big boys over here. A couple of things I like about it, okay? Number one, 1190 units. Very big size development. Very rare, quite rare nowadays to have so many units in a development. Another reason, okay, is this. The low estimated break-even. But bear in mind, this is a number that's derived from HPROC. When it comes to this sort of mixed-use integrated developments, so to speak, not so easy to come up with the break-even. But if it does come out to be somewhere along these lines, meaning they can potentially launch at 2,000, 2,100 PSF, and I would think that's a very, very good deal considering its size, considering the fact that it's surrounded by a lot of new BTOs, and all those are 5-year MOP BTOs. It's essentially a new town. For all intents and purposes, this part of Tampines, for if they were in any other part of Singapore, right, they could have formed basically a new town on their own. HDB, just because they don't want to go into the effort of marketing a totally new town, they want to borrow the fact that Tampines is already so established, they just put it like, you know, as part of Tampines North. Okay, so 1190 units. Basically, that's the biggest reason why, you know, I'm paying attention to this particular plot. Next up, we have Chuan Park, okay? Long time in the making. They undergo a lot of issues with the strata board and whatnot, right? So this one, the developers Kingsford, just a couple of years back, I would have concerns whether or not they could have pulled off the development, but I think they sort of turned the narrative around with their excellent execution of Normanton Park, so I don't think the Kingsford name is going to impact that so much, right? Again, very, very anticipated launch, right? The former Chuan Park. Again, it's also because of the number of units, 916 units, and the Lorong Chuan area hasn't had a new development there in quite a while. So this is the other launch that I will be paying a lot of attention to, and these are the 3 launches that really excite me in 2024.